Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Excretory system. Excretion is defined as the removal of waste products or byproducts of metabolism accumulated as a result of chemical activities of the body cells. Examples of things excreted are byproducts of metabolism, excess food substances which cannot be stored, and unwanted food substances present in food. Examples of waste products from body of living things are carbon dioxide from respiration, excess water as urine, excess heat as sweat, and excess amino acid deaminated or broken down to ammonia, which is written as NH3, which is the most poisonous metabolic byproduct. Plants excrete water and oxygen. The need for excretion are 1. To maintain water balance. To remove poisonous or unwanted substances. Excretion helps in controlling body temperature. It helps to maintain salt balance, which is the homeostasis. It also saves protozoa like amoeba from bursting. Organisms and their excretory parts. On the screen are some organisms and their excretory parts. The protozoa excretes through the use of contractile vacuole through osmoregulation. Flatworms use flame cells. Annelids use their nephrids. Insects use their malpighian tubules. The vertebrates make use of skin, lungs, liver, and kidney, which is the chief osmoregulator. Plants excrete through the stomata and the lenticels. Excretory organs and substances excreted. On the screen are lists of some organelles and the substances they excrete. The contractile vacuole excretes water, ammonia, and carbon dioxide, while the nephridia excretes nitrogenous waste, water, urea, and carbon dioxide. Malpighian tubules excrete uric acid and carbon dioxide. Skin excretes sweat. Lungs excrete carbon dioxide and water vapor. Liver excretes bile salt. The kidney excretes urine, also known as the urea. It excretes salt and water. Mouth excretes sputum or the phlegm. The nose excretes mucus or the phlegm. Stomata excretes oxygen and carbon dioxide. The lenticels excrete oxygen and carbon dioxide, while stems excrete latex, gums, and mucilages. Excretory system in mammals. The urinary system. In mammals, the excretory system begins with a pair of kidney which are bean-shaped and dark red in color. They are located on the dorsal wall of the lumbar or upper region of the abdomen. A long narrow tube, the ureter, arises from the ileum of each kidney. The ileum is also the point at which the renal artery enters each kidney and the renal vein leaves it. The renal artery is a branch of the dorsal aorta and it transports oxygenated blood containing excretory waste into the kidney, while the renal vein transports filtered blood from the kidney to the posterior vena cava. The ureter connects the kidney with an oval transparent sac-like chamber called the urinary bladder. The bladder is elastic in nature. The bladder opens into a narrow muscular tube known as the urethra, which opens the outside as a small aperture. The opening of the urethra is guarded by the ureteral sphincter. This controls the opening of the urethra for the passage of urine. Longitudinal section of the mammalian kidney. The longitudinal section of the kidney shows that it is divided into 3 parts: the outer cortex, the middle medulla, and the inner pelvis. Each kidney contains about 1 million narrow tubules. The urinary or the uriniferous tubules, which are referred to as nephron, traverse both the cortex and the medulla and open at the tip or the papillae of triangular shaped masses of the tubes called pyramids. These pyramids in turn open into the funnel shaped pelvis. The pelvis leads into the ureter. Numerous blood capillaries, which are branches of the renal artery and vein, are also found in the kidney. The structure of a uriniferous tubule. Each uriniferous tubule or nephron consists of the following parts: the Malpighian body, the proximal convoluted tubule, the loop of Henle, the distal convoluted tubule, and the network of blood capillaries. The Malpighian body or corpuscle is made up of a thin-wall cup-shaped chamber called the Bowman's capsule. Within the cup of the Bowman's capsule is a dense network of capillaries called the glomerulus. Between the inner and outer linings of the capsule is a cavity. This is the capsular space whose inner lining is closely applied to the walls of the glomerular capillaries. The proximal convoluted tubule. This is a tubule leading from the Bowman's capsule. It is highly coiled or convoluted. Both the Bowman's capsule and this tubule are located in the cortex. The loop of Henle. The proximal tubule leads into a U-shaped structure called the loop of Henle, which bends into the medulla and returns again into the cortex. The distal convoluted tubule. The loop of Henle leads to another convoluted section, the distal convoluted tubule, which is located in the cortex. This opens in a collecting duct along with several other nephrons. These ducts converge at the pelvis of the kidney, opening into it at the papillae of the pyramids. The pelvis then opens into the ureter. Each nephron is surrounded by networks of blood capillaries. The branch of the renal artery which transports oxygenated blood into the glomerulus is the afferent vessel, while the branch which takes blood out of the aglomerulus is the efferent vessel. The tubule is ciliated, that is, it contains cilia. The cilia helps to maintain the flow of urine in one direction. Mechanism of excretion in mammals. The mechanism is by filtration and selective reabsorption. Filtration takes place in the Bowman's capsule and it is made possible by two processes. The efferent vessel, through which blood is removed from the glomerulus, is narrower than afferent vessel, which transports blood into the glomerulus. The glomerular capillaries are very thin. These two conditions create a high blood pressure in the glomerular capillaries, and this forces the fluid constituents of the blood into the capsular space. The barrier formed by the endothelial lining of the glomerular capillaries and the basement or membrane of the Bowman's capsule, which retains molecules above a certain size while allowing smaller ones to pass through it. The process of filtration. In the process of filtration, blood brought into the kidneys by the renal arteries gets into each glomerulus of the Bowman's capsule through the afferent vessel. This blood is under pressure, and due to the reasons given above, filtration occurs. This filtration is referred to as ultrafiltration because it occurs under pressure. Substances such as water, uric acid, glucose, and mineral salt filter through the glomerular capillaries into the capsular cavity. This filtrate is known as the glomerular filtrate. Blood corpuscles and colloidal substances such as the plasma proteins do not filter through and therefore remain in the blood stream. The glomerular filtrate then flows into the proximal convoluted tubule. The selective reabsorption. As the filtrate passes along the proximal convoluted tubule and the loop of Henle, selected reabsorption takes place. Certain substances are reabsorbed back into the blood while others are retained. Some water or glucose, some mineral salts, and amino acids are reabsorbed into the blood capillaries. The reabsorption of water is through the process of osmosis. This is possible because the blood in the capillaries enveloping the proximal tubule and the part of the loop of Henle comes from the efferent vessel. This blood contains a lot of proteins, which brings about higher osmotic concentration and pressure than the filtrate in the tubule, and so water molecules pass into the capillaries. The reabsorption of glucose, salts, and amino acid is by active transport. During this process, energy is utilized, which is produced by oxidation of glucose by the tubule cells. Some water and salts together with urea and other nitrogenous waste are not reabsorbed. This watery fluid flows into the distal tubule where some water is reabsorbed. The resulting fluid, known as urine, then flows into the collecting tubule and from here to the pelvis and finally into the bladder for temporary storage. When the bladder is full, the urethral sphincter relaxes, allowing the urine to pass out of the body through the urethra. An average person excretes about 1 to 2 liters of urine per day, and urination may occur 4 or 5 times daily. Less urine is excreted on a hot, dry day than on a wet day. During a hot weather, perspiration or sweating occurs, and so less urine will be produced. The filtered blood leaves the kidney through the renal veins, and ammonium compound through the renal veins. Urine consists mainly of water, urea, salt, uric acid, creatinine, and ammonium compound. It is slightly acidic. In urine, we have water, which contains 1.5 liters, sodium, which is made up of 6.0 liters, chloride, which is made up of 10.0 liters, potassium, which is made up of 2.0 liters, phosphate made up of 2.5 liters, sulfate 2.5 liters, uric acid 0.75 liters, urea 35.0 liters, creatinine 1.0 liters, and ammonia 0.75 liters. Blood brought to the kidneys contains more water, salt, glucose, and oxygen. This is because some water and salt form part of urine, while oxygen is used for oxidation of glucose for energy release during tissue respiration. In addition, less carbon dioxide enters while some leave because carbon dioxide is a byproduct of tissue respiration. Blood which enters the kidney contains more urea and nitrogenous waste than that which leaves the kidney. Other organs of excretion. We have the lungs, skin, and liver. Lungs excrete carbon dioxide and water, while the skin excretes water, salt, and urea. The liver excretes toxic substances from drugs, food preservatives, chemicals, and gases used in industries or laboratories. Functions of the kidney. The kidney is the chief osmoregulator. It removes toxic water like drugs and poisons. It produces heat. It excretes nitrogenous waste like drugs. It regulates the water level in the body. It regulates the amount of salt in the body, and it helps to keep the pH level of the blood constant. Excretion in plants. Plants do not have special excretory organs. Terrestrial plants excrete carbon dioxide and water through the stomata in the leaves and lenticels in stems and roots. Other byproducts of metabolisms are the tannins, which is found in leaves of tea and unripe fruits, the alkaloids such as the cocaine, morphine, quinine, etc., the pigments through petals and dry leaves, the resins from conifers, and the oils, for example, the cinnamon from cinnamon tree, clove oil from buds of clove tree, ginger from ginger plant, and pepper from pepper plant.